What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Who You Got with
Melo.
and Rado. It's a sports podcast where we talk your favorite sports debates, sports highlights, and sports matchups. And I know you guys been watching the NBA because we sure have. Melo, how you been, man? You been watching the first round of the NBA playoffs?
Some hella good basketball. First time, I guess we got the 1 through 8 on the second round, which I mean, it kind of is crazy to think about it. 8 beat a 1, 7 beat a 2, 6 beat a 3, and so on and
You
so
had a
forth. We
four,
pretty
yeah.
much got yeah. I would say did a 5 beat a
Yeah,
4?
because you had
Is that
Knicks beat Cavs, so that was a 5 and a 4.
That's right. The Cavs were for it. So
Yeah.
yeah. So at this point, lower seed and every matchup pretty much end up beating a higher
That's so
seed.
interesting. I didn't even know that
And
stat. That's
now
crazy. Like every seed is in the second round, and that's never happened before. You said
yep, never
what?
happened
That's
before. So we
wild. I
got
didn't even
one
know
through
that.
eight. Now, think about it. It's probably hard as hell
I mean, especially
to have
because
that happen because that's 4 upsets.
yeah, and the 8 and the 1 matchup, 8 is only beating the 1 3 times or 6 times. I'm sorry, in the history of the NBA. So that's wild itself.
Yeah. So definitely great first round matchup. You've seen the Heat and Jimmy Butler step up, become Timothy, and give it to Giannis and the Bucks. Giannis was injured for a few games, so that did help the Heat, who also lost Tyler Hero. But they ended up pulling through and winning that one.
Crazy.
We definitely seen the Lakers take the Grizzlies to a very, very tough fought first round matchup. Dylan Brooks, your boy went from I poke bears to I don't want to talk to media to Grizzlies talking about we not signing him under no
He about to be signed with the
circumstances. So
Shanghai Knights next year.
nah, so I'll be honest. It's funny. It's so funny. My homeboy just said something on Facebook about that, and I was like, I feel you. He's an average role player at the end of the day. He's gonna find
Oh
a
no, my
team next
man.
year. He is gonna still
He's gonna
play
stay
in
in
the
the NBA. He's
NBA.
he's good enough.
He definitely will. But he will learn some lessons. Even if the Bears are 38 years old, if you definitely see LeBron in the forest fighting a grizzly bear, you better help the fucking bear. And obviously he had a lot
That's
of
that's
help
true.
from the rest of the squad. AD was
That's a fact.
Hachimura, uh, D'Lo, and Reeves all stepped up when they needed
Yo,
to. So
but
great
But
first
hasn't
round.
that happened with all the players that have tried to get on LeBron's nerves? Like you could talk about Lance Stevenson, we could talk about Beverly. Haven't they all gotten a little bit humbled? Even Draymond, like in the finals, he got a little bit humbled by him when they came back 3-1 to beat him. LeBron did, and so it's always happened like that. LeBron always like seems to get under people's skin, but sometimes he comes out on top.
Nah, and this was nice because it was nice to see a team effort. 'Cause at the end of the day, we don't want to see a 38-year-old LeBron drag a team because that's not going to go
Yep.
anywhere. So seeing the whole team step up, it's really good to
That's
see
for sure. I don't
basketball
think in
like
the
that.
West he can do that. I
Um,
don't think that this year he can drag a team in the
no,
West.
that's what I'm
The
saying. Like
West
you
is too
can't,
tough.
you just can't do
hmm
that. So yeah, definitely happy to see the Lakers squad playing good as a whole. Warriors versus King,
One of
nail
the, I think the
biter.
best series we could
Both
say
teams were just
in the first
yes.
round.
Both teams were fighting, and I'll be honest, clearly, if it wasn't for 50 piece in Game 7, we could be talking about a whole different matchup. Um, what can you say? I'll be honest. That's the team that we might have to talk about where the rest of the team is because Steph Curry is freaking carrying a book bag over there. And then obviously we had Clippers versus Suns. No help for Kawhi. Kawhi came out.
Came out hot.
Russell Westbrook tried to do it on his own.
Yeah, Kawhi was averaging
And Russell
36 points in the first 2 games of that series, and then he got injured, obviously, and he didn't play the rest of the series. But
then
imagine
he
if
got
he played the
injured.
rest of that series, because I mean, it was 1-1 after it was. They had a chance to win that third game too, so it was a close series with that one. But obviously, Phoenix Suns came out hot with, especially Booker.
Oh yeah, no. Booker and KD were looking in a good form. It was good to see Westbrook play his heart out, but he just couldn't get it done. Sorry. Um, Obviously, Nuggets, Timberwolves. That wasn't much to write about. Crazy how you got a former defensive player of the year and another prolific big man, even though he's not that great at defense and cat. And them boys couldn't stop nothing in the paint. They couldn't deal with Jokic. Nuggets
Jokic being
team
Jokic.
look deep, look healthy, and they look dangerous. So that was good to see them come back into
Mm-hmm.
full form. Back in the East, obviously I said the Heat and the Bucks, but we definitely had a tough fought matchup, like we just said, between the Cavs and the Knicks. Cavs came out swinging first, but the Knicks came back, and even without Randall, it just seemed like Josh Hart and your is definitely looking to shine in this postseason, and they did their
Yeah,
thing.
I was gonna say Brunson's been balling out, but I gotta give it up to R.J. Barrett in that series against the
Yes.
Cavs. I mean, Donovan Mitchell was supposed to be the best player on that court, but it seemed like it was every player from the Knicks team, like every role player from the Knicks team was doing their thing. Josh Hart, R.J. Barrett stepping in for guys. Obviously, Julius Randle wasn't in there a few games, so you know it. You know they balled out on him. Once they went up 3-1, you just knew that series was over.
Oh yeah, that's what I said. Cavs hit first. But I remember I was watching someone analyze that series, and they made a very good point where it was like the Cavs just got out physicaled
Hmm.
the rest of that series. Like all that size and big men, and they just
And
couldn't
it's
do nothing with
crazy.
it. They
It
just
was
let.
Obi Toppin and Mitchell Robinson against Evan Mobley
That's what I'm
and
saying.
Jared Allen. Like, how did that happen? Wild.
And they got bodied. To watch. Your boy Faithful Seas unfortunately let Trey Young go off for a couple games, and we end up closing that in six. But that was still a good series to watch. It was getting a little chippy.
If
I just love good
Yeah,
basketball. So even if it didn't go four, even if it went sad, because we shouldn't be going seven with them,
yeah, I should have swept
but
them.
it's still good basketball to
Yeah, I should
watch.
have
Yeah,
definitely swept
yeah,
them. But I'll give it.
yeah.
I mean, even obviously, my man Trey had a nice shot at the end of Game 6 to. I'm sorry, it was Game 5 to push the games forward and actually stay in the series. But obviously, if he didn't have that shot, I think you guys would have taken care of that series earlier. But got to give it up to Trey. Ice Trey was
No,
balling out.
I mean that's playoff
Hmm.
basketball, man. I didn't expect really any sweeps in the first round. And even then, I did say Celtics in four. But I kind of expected the Hawks would come through
Yep.
one game and just do
Yeah.
something.
I really didn't.
But the
Yeah.
one series that did get swept was the 76ers versus Nets, and that was probably the only in the playoffs that wasn't competitive in the first round. Um, the Nets tried. They just really didn't have the
Yeah.
firepower. And B obviously just announced as an
Yep.
MVP, and you got the assist leader in Harden, just going off in this playoff run, trying to show that he's that
That's for
guy.
sure. I mean,
So
that's
great, hell of a
hell of a first
first
round. Nets
round.
had a chance in that third game. It was very close, to the end, and then
Oh
obviously the
yes,
76ers,
the foul
yeah,
trouble.
took over at the end. And honestly, great first round. Like you said, I think some insane series that you didn't think were going to happen. Obviously, the Heat shouldn't have beat the Bucks. Obviously, it was a crazy series between Warriors and Kings. The Lakers, being a seventh seed coming into a hot Memphis team, they beat them. Crazy first round, and now we got some amazing series going into the second round. Let's talk about some of these series because these are going to be incredible. We got obviously the Celtics going up against the 76ers, tough series. And then we got the Knicks versus the Heat in the East. And then in the West, we got Warriors versus the Lakers, which could be a very, very intriguing series. And then Denver versus Phoenix.
Hmm.
So let's talk about those. What do you want to talk about first, man?
A big season up Bleak Green all day. Very very rough start. For those watching live and those who will catch the rest of this video that's not live. Sadly to say, the second round has already started, and crazy enough, we gave away a first game loss without Embiid. Tough way to start. Definitely, uh, some people might have had their prediction different. I never counted them out. This is the first time in years, and I've said it all. This is the first time I'm finally scared of Philly.
Yeah, you did say that.
Every year before, when they had Jimmy, when they had Ben, like it just none of it bothered me. This year they're deep. They got the leading the points leading points per game, the leading scorer in the NBA basically, and not MVP is on the same team as the man who got the most assists in the
Yeah.
league. Like I don't think people understand how crazy that is.
That's pretty crazy.
Like
That's
that
pretty
right
crazy.
is offensively prolific. Tyrese Maxey stepping into his own, and obviously you always have Tobias Harris of pack
Yeah, man.
need to be
Toby's a beast too. He's been balling.
definitely anchor for that team. I mean, you got the All Star duo in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, one of the best offensive and defensive teams in the league. We're continuously on top five on both categories.
Yep.
This really stepped up our 3-point shooting, and shooting the lights out, and definitely going deep and can go deep.
True.
The problem is we got both teams that plan on going deep and can go deep. I'll be honest, and it's not even to say because it's the Heat versus Knicks, but it's almost clear to say that this is about to be the Eastern Conference Finals, because at the end of the day, whoever wins this, I'm not even going to act like it's a guessing game. Whoever wins this is definitely going to the finals and beating whoever comes out.
Good point. Real quick, I just want to say again for viewers that haven't listened to our previous episodes, I actually had the Philadelphia 76ers and the Celtics as my Eastern Conference Finals in the beginning of the year as well. I thought this was going to be the greatest matchup ever, but now we're getting to see it in the second round.
They fucked up in the first. Yeah, I promise you, when I seen the way it was matched up, I was like, I know we both going to come out of series. I'd be honest, I'd rather face the Heat or the Bucks and then save the 76ers for the Eastern Conference Finals for sure. But yes, gonna be a hell of a series. But you already know where I stand. Big C's all day. This is probably the one sport where I can be unbiased because my team is that good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like we're just gonna smoke everybody. Like I understand what we bring to the table, and I understand what other teams bring to the table. I already had this going 7 games. I already had, but still one without Embiid is crazy. But 45 from Harden with a 3 in Horford's face to really seal the deal. Man, he had my stomach in my guts last night, man. I was feeling sick, man. But it's good to see basketball-wise. Like, it's good to see Harden come out.
It was a good end of the game, though. I got to get it. That was
a couple bad mistakes on our part. But right now, we got 2 great shooting teams, 2 great defensive teams, both well coached, both know so well. This is about the 4th or 5th postseason meeting. Pretty much, I think it's at least a 3rd or 4th between Jason and Embiid themselves.
That's crazy.
But we know each other well. We play each other well, and I definitely think this is gonna be a great defensive, high IQ, very very well fought, close series. But I'll be honest, I'm not even gonna bore y'all telling y'all who I think is gonna win. Let's hear what you got to say.
Nah, I feel you, and you know what? That's interesting that they've played this many series. Just like you said, 5. That's crazy because obviously the last 3 years at least we've seen them play against each other. Probably even 4 years they've played against each other.
That's what I'm saying. We at least I don't even know what it is off the top of my head, but just being a Celtics
I know at
fan,
least the last 3.
Remember,
yes,
at least 4 for me.
Yeah, I'm playing against each other, and it's been back and forth. 1 year Philly won against you guys, then obviously you guys had the revenge. Last year, well, it was 3 years ago, if you remember. Philly.
I was about to say we were scraping them consecutively up until the year before the finals.
Yep, that's the one I'm talking about. Yep,
that's the one
where you guys lost, and they made it to the, they made it far. They had a decent team. I think that's when they had Al Horford. Actually they had Al Horford before when you guys let him go for a little bit for that 1 year, and then he came back to you guys. And that's a huge piece in this series. I think Al Horford is going to need to ball out for you guys. I'm surprised that you guys lost with Embiid. I'm not going to lie. That was very surprising to me. It was a close game, but having Maxey and Harden both out there balling out.
I was right. I was about to say, we have not lost with them.
What, in the playoffs?
No, yeah. And no matter who they bring to the table, I've never been scared of them. This is the first year that they actually have a team that can beat us.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, they're scary though. You're right. Having the MVP candidate, the MVP player this year, plus the most assists, in per average, obviously in Harden, that's huge right there. Having a third guy in Maxey is huge. I mean, I think that has happened before because I think Jokic has been the MVP when he was the top assist getter in the NBA as well. Actually, he had like 10.3 assists, I think, in one year, if I remember correctly, and he was number one in assists the first year he got his MVP. But as far as Harden, he played a crucial role in this first game, and he's gonna have to play a crucial role in this series. I think that if Embiid doesn't play second game, that is gonna be huge for you guys because you guys are gonna need to definitely try to out rebound them. What I was seeing yesterday, and for game one, I was seeing Naz Reid out rebounding everybody on the Celtics, and I was so surprised. You guys had
Mm-hmm.
Grant Williams out there, you guys had Al Horford out there, even Jason Tatum was trying to post not post him up, but box him out to get rebounds, and it was just interesting. Naz Reid, especially in that fourth quarter, he was definitely out rebounding you guys, and he even came out and got some obviously fouls like where he can shoot some free throws. He made his name known in that free throw line though yesterday, and that's a big reason why they kept in that game. One thing I will say though is you guys didn't shoot a free throw until the fourth quarter, which was crazy to me. That was an insane stat that I saw. In the first game, the Celtics didn't shoot any free throws until that fourth quarter, and to that point, Philly had only shot five. At the end of it, they shot a little bit more, but I'll be honest. I don't think the second game is going to be anything like that. I think it's going to be way more physical, a lot more inside, especially if Embiid's not there. You guys are going to try to take up that inside. I see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown going in inside. I do think that you guys are going to steal a game in Philly as long as Embiid's not there. One stat I did hear that was interesting, though, is that Philly hasn't won a playoff game in Boston since 1988. Can you believe that? And that was the first time they did it, a playoff game in Boston. And I was like, what? That is an insane stat. And when they said that, I was thinking to myself, well, let's look at the rest of the series. You got game two in Boston. Obviously, game three and four are going to be in Philly, but three out of the next four games are going to be in Boston. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not going to be a close series because I think it is. I think once Embiid gets in there, you guys are going to have a problem in that inside. I think the Celtics are definitely going to have
Mm-hmm.
issues, being able to hold down Embiid down low. I think a lot of guys are going to get fouls. I think you guys are going to get guys fouling out, and Embiid is just going to be doing what he does: stay down there boxing people out, or backing them down and passing the ball to the outside and trying to make people hit threes. Like you said, both of these teams are shooting teams. And you saw that even in the first game. I think that's going to continue. And throughout the series, you're going to see a lot more of this. And once Embiid comes back, it's going to be more back in, like, obviously Philly backing you guys down and you guys trying to go inside with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. That's what I think it's going to be. Because I think the shooting, you have. Both of these teams know they have it. You guys both have players that can shoot a lot of threes, even role players that can shoot threes. So what's really gonna be interesting in this series is going inside. I got this as a 7-game series. I think this is gonna be close as hell. I really do. I think this series is gonna be the closest series we're gonna have in the second round. Maybe we'll talk later about maybe Lakers and Warriors, but I just want to say, like, I think that this series is going to be the most interesting. I had this in the beginning of the season as one of my Eastern Conference Finals, and I thought it was going to be because both of these teams have role players that can play multiple positions and they can defend multiple positions as well. I mean, we already talked about Tobias Harris and obviously Al Horford. He can defend whoever he wants, but you got Marcus Smart on your side, which is going to be a huge help for
Mm-hmm.
Harden to guard against Maxey. I mean, even if he wants to like guard guys like Furkaz if he comes on, tries to shoot threes or guys like that. I think that Smart is going to be huge in this series. So I got to the 7-game series. I want to know, you got to the 7-game too?
100%. I definitely do think they're gonna have to pick up on some things. Obviously, Celtics are great at doing that. So I think they do. Definitely got a lot of shooters over there that we have to focus on. But yet we are one of the best defensive teams. The only thing I would say I do hate is since we do have such good perimeter defenders, because we even got Derek White is a great perimeter defender as well. I just really wish that we would fight over certain screens, but in today's position, basketball switched.
Switch.
Like
Yeah.
watching Harden hit that 3-0 over
Yeah.
Horford was
I
disgusting. You
agree.
know, it's
Yeah,
like,
but
bro,
but I'll
come
be
on.
honest, like that's a step back three that you know Harden's gonna take. How do you not know Harden's gonna step back and do a three? Like that's Harden's move.
Because he dropped 42
I get
points
it, but
by
that's like
not
he
by
created
cooking.
that move for the NBA, and now everyone's using it, and like that's his move.
Not to mention they didn't even need a three.
Nah, you're right. They didn't, but that's Harden's
They just
move though.
needed a two. So there's so many. That's what I'm saying. There's so many different variables, and Harden's quick. You know what I'm saying? That shot goes up so quick. It wasn't like it was horrible defense, but he's just so quick to pull the trigger. But they definitely played a great game. It's gonna go 7.
Yeah.
Um, I would tell you I did double check. Uh, it's only been 2. So it feels like more, but I guess 2018 we held Ben Simmons to one point. That was the first time we faced this
Hmm.
76ers team, and then 2020 was the second time we faced them, and we 4-0'd them.
Oh, really? So it wasn't all. It
And this would be
wasn't
the
the
third
last
time.
3 years. Hmm.
Yeah, no, this is actually the third time. It feels like more, but we honestly between us, we faced
The
the
Bucks.
Sixers, Bucks, and we faced the Heat
The
constantly.
last 3 years of season. So you know what? It was the Heat
Yeah,
actually. I'm sorry. I
the
mistake that.
Heat,
It was the
the
Heat
Heat
that
we
you guys
faced.
faced in the last
Yes,
3 years. That's what it was. And they beat you guys once. You guys beat them once.
they beat us in the bubble. Yeah, they beat us in the bubble. Yeah, yeah.
That's what it was.
So yeah, so it wasn't the Sixers, but this is definitely going to be a different series. Both those series weren't competitive. Obviously, this will be. They already won a game without Embiid. Let you know it's a whole different team. But no, needless to say, I got Celtics in 7. No surprise there.
Nice.
Biased and unbiased, I do think they are the better team. I do think they can pick it in this well fought series that goes to Game 7 at home. I'm always going to choose the Celtics.
Nice. Nice. And I'll be honest, like that's not a bad choice at all. And when I heard Embiid was going to be out game 1 and game 2, before I heard that, I think I had this as a 6 game series. I wouldn't have had this in 7. I really
But
thought
then they
it
won
was
one.
gonna be, but now seeing that game yesterday and seeing them win, I got this 6-7 game. I do think it's gonna be close. Every game is gonna be competitive. Maybe one or two are gonna be a little bit, uh, probably like towards the fourth quarter. You guys are gonna like win by 15, or the Phillies gonna win by 15 at home, maybe. But after after the first 4 games, I expect both of these teams to be 2-2. I expect the Celtics to keep winning at home after that. That means that I got it as a 7 game series with the Celtics winning in game 7. When I heard that stat, the Celtics have not lost in their building against Philadelphia in the playoffs since 1988. I was like, what? That's the first time they lost there?
So
And I was like, how crazy
And
that?
it's actually before that because I got all the playoffs history. We played in
Was it
1985,
85? I thought they said
and the
88.
only game we lost was at 76ers. So it was
Oh, 82. 82 was the
82.
last time. I
82
swear
was
I
the
thought it
last
was
time they
88
won
when they
in
were
Boston.
saying it, but it was 82. And that's even crazier. That's right there. So you're talking.
And we lost. That was our 7 game series, and we lost 2 games at home in
Right. And that
'82.
it's been that long since Philadelphia has gone to Boston and won a game in the playoffs. So that tells you how good the Celtics are at home in the playoffs, and that tells you how good they're gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
I expect them to keep balling out. I think Jason Tatum is just he's gonna start balling out, and I do expect Jaylen Brown to take off that mask, bro. Demask. Let's see the real Jason, or Jaylen Brown. I want to see the real Jaylen Brown ball out. But I do think Jason Tatum's going to ball out this series. I expect him to, win game 5 and then game 7, turn up and possibly even go for 40 points and win that game 7. I think the Celtics are made for a team like this because it is going to be back and forth. And as you saw, even game 1 was close and a lot of 3-pointers need to be made to keep up with Philadelphia. You guys can do that. The Celtics can. And you guys can defend the 3 ball when you need to. So that's what it's going to depend on. And I love the way that the Celtics have been pushing the ball around, even in the first series. Yeah, they had, a few tough spots in the fourth quarter of game 1 against Philadelphia, but I don't expect that to happen in the rest of the series.
100%, 100%. And even with the game one loss, we both expect this to still be competitive. But I'll be honest, there's another series in the West that if for the love of God, one team don't pick it up, it might not get competitive at all. And it's honestly probably one of the what we of four, just both basically both teams are just
I'll say it.
championship
No,
contenders.
I had
I would say,
the
yeah.
Phoenix Suns as possibly being a championship contender. Yes, once they got KD, yeah, I had them as a championship
Yeah.
contender.
Them the Phoenix Suns down 0-2 already to the Denver Nuggets. Man, what can you
Yeah.
say, man? What do you think about
So
this,
I'll
man?
be honest, like that's Jokic being Jokic in the game too, but Jamal Murray has been stepping it up for the Denver Nuggets. One thing that we have both been saying about the Denver Nuggets in the last few years when they've been in the playoffs is where's Jamal Murray been at? Where's he been at? Obviously, he had some injuries, a few years ago when Jokic's first MVP. Even last year, he was missing. I believe he was missing just a few games though, and then he came in like right towards the beginning of the playoffs. But either way, like they keep coming out as close to a number one seed or number two seed pretty much. The Denver Nuggets the last 3 years, and now I think this year they're finally showing that they're a true number one seed. I'll be honest, man. Like Jokic is doing his thing. He's playing at an MVP level. You got Jamal Murray out there actually giving you close to 25 points. Obviously not every game, but he's giving you that. Then you got guys, obviously Aaron Gordon almost getting you that 20. He's getting you 19 points. And Michael Porter Jr. is doing his thing. He's finally stepping into his own. I think he's learned the role he's playing right now. Yeah, he wants to get the ball more and shoot more, but Jokic is not going to let him do that when he's on the field. Jokic needs to get those balls down low so then he can pass it out to the outside and get some assists too and have his guys shoot. But one of the guys that's been really stepping it up is Brown. Bruce Brown has been balling out. I think even in the first
Hmm.
round, I just seen a lot from him. Once Bones Highland got traded to the Clippers, Bruce Brown got a lot more run, with the second unit, and he was actually even getting in with the first unit a few games. But now he's actually really shooting the ball very well, shooting over 45%, shooting 38 from the 3-point line just in the playoffs, which is amazing. And you know, the what Denver has is incredible. Now on the Phoenix side of the ball, the way that they played the first round, I was applauding Devin Booker, but not as much Kevin Durant. I'll be honest, Kevin Durant kind of looked like he was in the shadows in that first round against the Clippers. Now he's got to kind of shine if he wants his team to come out on top. This series is going to be very hard for the Phoenix Suns to come back from. What I see this as is I see one team that has stars, and then the other team has amazing role players. Like you literally have one of the best benches with the Denver Nuggets. And then the Phoenix Suns, they have the worst bench in the NBA. Do you know that there's 58 players that are averaging more points than what the Phoenix Suns are averaging from their bench? They're only averaging like 12 points from their bench, which is insane. And just this season. And there's 58 players in the NBA by themselves that are averaging more points than that whole bench. That's just insane right there to me. And that just shows you that the Denver Nuggets were built as an all-around team, and Phoenix Suns were built as a scoring team with stars. I want to hear what your analysis is on this, but I will say that I think it's going to be very tough for Phoenix to come back from this.
It's definitely a good thing to think about. Seeing the Phoenix Suns, we've seen the Dallas Mavericks. Certain teams go towards a real big push, high quality superstars, gut their defense, get rid of their best defenders, Dorian Finney,
Finney
Finney,
Smith, yeah. Hmm.
Yes, Smith, and Michael Bridges, trade them off, and now pretty much get left with nothing. Uh, is that really the way to go? I mean, it begs the question. You got teams like the Nuggets, like you said, a bunch of role players, one true superstar, and they kind of allow their team to kind of grow into themselves to get themselves past the hump. With that being said, though, I will say the Nuggets, in my opinion, have the most pressure
That's
this
a
year
good point.
to win a
Good point.
championship.
I don't even think just the
A lot of
Nuggets.
people will say the Warriors or the Lakers, but no, what the team the Nuggets had back to back
I was gonna
MVP,
say Jokic too.
being right there on the cusp the whole time, finally having Murray back from injury, Murray, finally having Aaron Gordon play like Aaron Gordon. For Michael Porter Jr., he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Once again, the number 1 seed, the Nuggets, in my opinion, have the most pressure to win the championship because of the fact that the piece is already there. We've all said they need that one more step, one more. Obviously, they never had to go get a superstar. They're already damn near the best team in the West for the last
Yeah,
couple of years, but we're just
yeah.
now they put themselves past that brink. But can they close it out? Can they do it without that basically true superstar help? So we'll definitely see what they're gonna be able to deal with. But at the end of the day, the Suns are the only team left in the West that isn't deep and doesn't really have a bench. You could make an argument for the
Hmm.
Warriors. They don't have the best team to begin with, but the Lakers have shown that they can be deep.
Yeah, they
Um,
got deep after
and
trade
at this
deadline.
point, they after the trade deadline, exactly. At this point, we're gonna see how the Nuggets can dive through this playoff run. Different types of teams, like the Timberwolves was kind of just like they were just getting their role going. Like I don't understand how they had all those big men and still couldn't do nothing. But the Nuggets played with their food. Like they were no competition. And at this point, the Suns don't look like no competition, and it's definitely because of that defense. I mean, it's not because of the offense. You know, the 2 star players, obviously KD and Booker, are definitely doing what they're supposed to do. In both games, they both score 50 plus, 60 plus. Like they definitely are getting their points, but they can't stop anything on the other
Hmm.
side of the ball. So we definitely like I agree. I definitely do think it's gonna be hard for Phoenix to really come back. But hey, 2 games at home, let's see
That's
what they
true.
can do.
That's true.
But
We got to see what they can do, and I do expect at least KD to come out hot in that third and fourth game. You know,
no, honestly, it's not, to me it's not even scoring. Chris Paul was
true,
ineffective. He was honestly
true.
looking bad the first couple games. So him being out might honestly share the ball a little. Offense flow a little better. Uh, it's they gotta find a way to put people in front of the basket. Like question, where's Aiton back?
Thank you, thank you. I was gonna get to that in a little bit because I was gonna say how much Jokic has been balling out on Aiton, man. He's been eating them up. He's been literally eating them up. Nah, for real, Jokic has been balling out on Aiton all series.
No, and he's definitely gonna have to step it up. Like Aiton honestly didn't really impress the first series either. Honestly, Zubac didn't look that
You're
bad.
right. Zubac he was
So
eating them up too, on especially on the offensive rebounds. You're right about that.
and it's crazy. 'Cause I remember when we talked about potential matchups, uh, or not even that. This was the yeah, it was the episode we did about the
Hmm.
trade, about like just where these teams gonna go if we see them going to the playoffs. I always said like obviously this team is healthy. Like they did good because I think they're gonna do good because historically, Aiton doesn't play that bad against Jokic. He kind of does learn. He has learned to bang a little bit in the playoffs when it comes with the bigs, and now he finally gets Jokic, and he's not doing anything. Um, so yeah, I mean it sucks because I'll be honest. I imagine if this was a few days ago, we would have had a lot more to say about the Phoenix Suns on what we projected or predicted they would have done. But unfortunately, 2 games down, the only thing we can say is step it up on the defensive side of the ball. Like that's all that can be said. At the end of the day, they don't have no bench.
Yeah,
But they were kind of in most of these games without a
yeah,
bench.
true.
If they would have got a
I mean,
couple
look,
more
they went
stops,
like
that's the
10
thing
and
they
0
know,
with
and they know
when
they don't
KD
have a
was on
bench.
the floor. And the Phoenix Suns, they won 10 and 0 the first 10 games with him. So that's crazy.
Thing when you got someone Kevin Durant and Devin Booker of the team. It's definitely to imagine you can win a few games or at least do it without the defense. But I definitely do think that they need to do more of including him on
Yes.
defense, getting him tired. It's crazy, but that's probably the only so good thing you can think of at this point with a caliber of
No,
a
you're
player
right.
like that. Is let's try to tire him out, include him in the defense, maybe get him in foul trouble. He's not the Bears either. The only issue is sell off the mid range to do what they need to do. They stop at the mid range, but force their way through the paint
Yeah, you know what? That's
through
that's a good
Jokic
point because
and getting him in those foul troubles, getting him involved in action. Because as long as he's hedging and they're coming right off the screen shooting middies, all he has to do is just stay in front of them and just jump up
that's
a
a
little
good
bit.
point. And I'll be honest, even like Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon are tall, so they're always staying like around that elbow area of the free throw line. So they're gonna stop you if you try to hit those mid range shots. And Devin Booker loves mid range shots. So does CP3. Now we'll see without him what happens if they're gonna start maybe going around the outside a little bit more. But CP3 and Devin Booker both love the mid range, and so does KD
And
sometimes.
Kevin
Like
Durant,
yeah, I was gonna say so does KD
yeah,
sometimes. Like
no,
yeah,
that the even before they got KD, it was a team in the league by shot the most
true.
middies. Add KD,
Yeah,
it's
it's not
not
even
even close.
close. Yeah,
And that's what I'm
that's
saying.
true.
Like if that's their game, that's their game. That's fine. But you might have to switch it up a little bit. That's what I don't know what it comes to when these type of defensive
Mm.
or not even just these IQ battles. Like at this point, do you lean in to what you do so well, or not? I wouldn't say stray away from it, but do you try to add variations in to deter strength?
And my thing is yes. My thing is yes because I think the way that you should play Jokic should. Now the NBA doesn't do this, but I think you play zone on a guy like Jokic. You put two guys right in the lane on Jokic because you know he's going to command all that size. Now what the problem with Minnesota why that didn't work is Cat doesn't like playing down low, man. He likes staying on the outside, so he's scared to play down low with guys. He does not like playing defense against the big men in the West. I don't know why. I don't know what's up with that. That's literally why they brought in Rudy Gobert to do that. He couldn't do it. But what I think that if Phoenix wants to do good, they need to bring in like a guy like Alex Len maybe with with Ayton. Even if not that, maybe just have a guy like Ayton in there with KD playing a type of zone. I know they don't do that always, but I could see that happening one or two of these games.
I think that's the opposite of
Mm-hmm.
what they should do. Uh, Zones their teams to shoot. Now you have the best person you can have in the world who knows where to pass the ball with their back to the basket with someone's open. If someone's open, well, if two people are on them, someone's open. And that's not the center you want to
That's true.
allow because they Aaron Gordon cutting, Jamal Murray getting open. No matter where Michael Porter Jr. he's shooting it. It don't even matter if he's
Yeah,
open or
I agree
not.
with.
Like that's not the team that you give any space. You got to force Jokic on the
Mm.
and on offense to stop Jokic. At the end of the day,
You know what though?
you really got to put a body on him and get him out the paint.
That's a good
He
point.
is like he's
Yeah,
slow.
that's a good point though
Able to get.
about like
Go ahead.
him being down there and passing it off. You're right. Denver is the best team at having a guy like Jokic finding the open three man and them shooting the three. That's for sure. I just think that they need to try to double him more because especially in the first two games he's been killing them down low, and they need to find a way even with points. I mean, yeah, Murray took over the first game, but he was still balling out with offensive rebounds and just keeping the time keep going. And the way that they won those first two games wasn't three pointers. Denver, they won with defense, like you said, like you pointed that out. That was perfect. Like I think that if Phoenix wants to win, they need to try to make them shoot more three pointers. Like if they make it, they make it. But if they don't, then you're doubling at least the best player. You got to double Jokic, I think. What do you think?
So as soon as he get it, someone swipe at it a little bit. Um, but this it's not a. That's why he gets the assist he gets
True, because
because
they
he can
make him.
go off for the points he go off, and then when you him, he's all open person. That's like actually falling into their strengths. Um, I would think more of a, and it's so crazy because like everything I'm thinking of, they already do. You know, like it's not like we could think of anything that the
That's why I'm
coaches in the
saying this
NBA
is
haven't
gonna be
thought of.
so hard to win this series because you see how tough. Like
Yeah, I know.
in other years, Denver does not seem this tough, but they got everyone back. They got
Yeah,
Michael Porter Jr. making shots. Aaron Gordon is playing great defense, and obviously Jokic is playing still at an MVP level. Even though Embiid's gonna get it, and finally Murray is into a league of his own, and he's not a superstar. You're right. There's no second superstar on that team. You only have that one superstar in Jokic, even though he walks around so slow and he moves like he's like a gorilla. Like, oh, like his arms are so low to the ground. Like my man literally walks like a gorilla sometimes. But I'm not gonna try to make fun of my man because he be balling out. But finally, Jamal Murray's being a secondary option, which is what Denver needs. And once he starts making shots, they are so tough to beat, man. They're so tough to beat.
100%. And honestly, because I was thinking of keeping Jokic out the paint, him standing out the
Yo, he
three
makes
point line
threes, bro.
with the way everyone else is playing. Not only is he gonna make threes, but he also great at assisting, uh, facing the basket as well. Like watch standing there and everyone else doing backdoor cuts, setting screens for each other, he'll still get 10 assists. So at this point, I don't know what Phoenix can do. I do know they need to, for the love of God. I mean, it's a tough task. I don't know if they can, but they need to win two at home.
Yes.
If they want any chance of
Yep.
competing in this series. But if they go back to Denver
So
3-1, maybe they can squeeze out a game in Denver, but they don't squeeze out two in a row, in my opinion. So I definitely got the most six, and that's just me giving them six because it's KD. I don't see KD going out
yeah.
like that. But at the end of the day, Nuggets are looking good. Phoenix in the trouble, and I got this as Nuggets in six.
Hey, Nuggets in 6. Beating the one of the best players in the league, KD, coming on to one of the best
Hmm.
teams in the league that's been balling out the last few years. But you know what? I'm just gonna say it right now. That's exactly where I got it, bro. I got this as a 6 game series. I'll be honest. After they won game 2, I was definitely more surprised because what I saw Phoenix being up by 8 with 5 minutes left in the third quarter in game 2 with a chance to win that game, and then they came out so short in that fourth quarter. They shot so terribly, and seeing them have a bad quarter like this with guys like CP3, with guys like Booker and guys like KD on the squad, that makes me think that they just don't have no cohesion there. What I really saw the end of the third quarter, the bench players on obviously Denver taking care of business, man. My man Brown has been balling out. I gotta give him so much credit. I think he's gonna keep doing his thing in this series. I do think that once Phoenix uses Cameron Payne more as a point guard, I do expect them to actually play a little bit more with KD shooting the ball more, and KD's and Booker, they're going to be holding the ball a lot more than when CP3 is on the court. I do expect that, but I just think that this, just like you, once they get to Phoenix, if they don't win 2, then it's going to be over quick. I think that Denver is going to have a few close games in Phoenix, and one of those games Denver is going to take care of, and they're going to win in the fourth quarter again. And then once you get back to Denver, they're going to take it in 6. So I got Denver as well, finally being Denver, the number 1 seed that they should have been the last few years, with an MVP caliber player, making it to the Western Conference Finals.
100%. And I don't much competitiveness in this series already. To be facing what we think is probably going to be our version of the last time or the last NBA Finals because it's the last time we get to see
Hey.
versus Corey.
LeBron
So
versus Curry. But before that, I want you guys to click that like button below and make sure you guys subscribe. Because if you guys want us to keep talking about the rest of this series, you guys have to turn on those post notifications on and make sure you guys get every single video from us every time we post it on. Whenever we're doing it live or whenever we just post clips of our vids, you guys got to make sure you're getting them every time. Also, make sure you guys follow us over there on Patreon because we got some cool stuff for you over there. We got some merch if you guys want to sign up for the 3, 6, and 9 month memberships. Plus, we give out some really cool, first we give out questions that we could put on the podcast. Also, we ask you guys to give us topics. Then, if you guys just want to be a part of our podcast that we don't put up on YouTube, you guys can go check those out there for sure. But if you want to check everything out at once, we got everything in one place. So why don't you tell them about that, Melo?
of course, www.whoyougotpodcast.com. You get access to all of our blogs that we write for each episode, all of our podcasts themselves, as well as links to over 15 different platforms that you can listen to. You get access to links to all of our YouTube videos, or we just say go to YouTube itself. If you want to get the action right away, turn on the notifications and make sure you and obviously access to our merch to make sure that you can rock the Who You Got gear just in time for the summer. Pretty much a one-stop shop for everything you need Who You Got related, and we want to make sure we keep it guys
That's
coming.
for sure. So definitely make sure you guys check all that, and everything's going to be below in the description. And if you guys are listening over there on Spotify, Apple, or Google Podcasts, then you guys can just look below and click on the links below to check us out. But anyways, let's go on to that other series that you were talking about.
Oh yes, Lakers versus Warriors, man. It's definitely one for the nostalgia for us. It's so funny because I keep seeing memes about how a couple years ago it's like, oh man, not another LeBron versus Curry finals, and so many of us are honestly just so
I was
goddamn
gonna say
excited
that's
we get to
exciting to
see
me.
it one more time. Yeah, but I definitely understand. But sometimes, like for me, we didn't really appreciate greatness. Like for me, I wasn't as a Celtics fan up until 2018. Watching him drag those teams to the finals, and watching the Warrior Avengers just be the greatest thing basketball's ever seen, was honestly
You
just
could
pure
say it. They beat
basketball
up
in
Thor.
its
They
height
beat up
form.
Thor.
Oh yeah, nah, they definitely were out here doing marvelous things with the team that, in my opinion, still one of the best teams ever created. But definitely great series from both teams. 7 game series in the first round. Both were the underdog
Yeah.
in this series. We got 7-6 beating 2-3. And honestly, both teams look good. One team was about a story of, like I said, Steph Curry carrying the backpack. Clay went missing for a few games. Draymond literally went missing for a game because he decided to step on people's chest.
Game and a half, pretty
And
much.
obviously,
Yeah.
Claypool. I said Claypool. Jordan Poole also went missing for a little bit, but the only person that didn't want go missing, two people. The only two people that didn't go missing was definitely Steph Curry and your boy Looney on those
Ooh,
offensive boards. Him and those
Looney. Yeah.
rebounds was definitely, honestly, a sight. Cause that's something that probably wasn't
Not
expected.
at all.
And
Not
on
no
the other,
20 point or 20
uh,
rebound games. Not at all.
yeah, that's crazy. Another end, man, you had LeBron doing LeBron things. As I said, coming up to the playoffs, years in the playoffs, Lakers especially, he's learned to try to take a step back, average less points, get more assists. We're no longer seeing like 36. We're seeing like 25-9. So he's definitely trying to get his other teammates involved. And honestly, this time he's not even going to get the assists because he got people that can create for
True.
themselves. So that they can. AD had two monstrous games. The best defensive player in the first round, hands down,
True.
even close. They were hosting a party over there. Um, like
One of the best
I
defensive
said,
players, like I've said, man.
and Reed.
AD.
Oh yeah, as long as he stay healthy, he's honestly a unicorn, one of a kind. Um, Rui, Hachimura and Reeves
Balling
both taking
out.
turns, really coming through,
Yeah.
stepping up, making sure they show out when they need to. Good passes when defensive plays. And then obviously, after a couple games coming out flat, D'Lo made sure he ended the series on the right note. Letting everyone know why he's that third guy basically on that team. So definitely love to see this. This one, hard one for me to choose.
Yeah, me
Um,
too. Me too. I'll be
real
honest. Me
hard
too.
for me to choose. Honestly, I'll be honest. Let me. Okay.
It's
Um.
that tough. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
back and forth from it,
I
right?
don't. I don't like to choose. Yeah. I don't like to choose before the episode. So this is when I was just like, I'll just wait to see how I
That's
feel.
that's true. That's
Um.
how I am.
It's a heart versus
Mm.
mind. But the crazy is the heart and mind is playing strings with both of them. I do want Steph Curry like last year. Steph Curry against the Celtics. If we had to lose, which obviously I was upset we lost. If we had to lose, the Warriors were the one team I was happy we lost to see the Steph Curry come back, you know, them not make the playoffs, Clay come back from injury, and see the journey they had last year. Like that was amazing. Um, to see them do it again when I'll be honest, they didn't look nowhere near as good this year.
Mm.
Will be another testament to Steph
Yeah.
Curry.
Good point.
And the same thing for LeBron. Um, a lot of people love to hate LeBron. A lot of people don't want him to get. But at the end of the day, to me, his legacy
Oh yeah,
is already cemented.
for sure.
Um, but we can have talks about who is the GOAT, all that. But to me, like he when once he became the leading scorer for NBA, I'm not gonna say that made him the GOAT, but that made it so he's no longer chasing nobody.
Mm.
Like I don't think he has to win another ring to cement his legacy for
No,
nobody. Anything
you're
else
right.
after is just icing on the cake at this point.
Good point.
Um, I do think him just going through playoff series at the age of 8, uh, winning a ring or getting a chance to win a ring is like people don't understand, especially leading a team at the age of 38 to win a ring. I don't think people understand how amazing that is. So I definitely
It hasn't been since Kareem,
I
really.
have so
Like
much
you
emotions.
had a guy like this, but then Kareem had Magic Johnson, so
Not even that where like
oh
there
no, he wasn't as
hasn't
good. Yeah, at this,
efficient,
yeah,
efficient or effective at this point of
exactly.
their career. Not
He
one
was on the
person. So
downturn of his career, whereas LeBron seems like he's pretty steady. Like yeah, he's taking a little bit of a dip, but it's like he's steady after that dip. Like he's not going all the way down.
and that dip is still top 5 in the league, which is
I'll say
crazy.
top 10.
Um, some old age wise, but if you honestly, he's still top 5
Oh
in the
yeah, yeah,
league.
skill set. All right. I was going by like just stats this year. Stats this year is like top 10.
And that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like he is getting old, so he's not going to put those stats up. But I'll still take
Oh yeah,
over
yeah, yeah, yeah. You gave me
everyone,
like
but probably
a
about
top
four
10
people in the
player.
league. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
other than like two other players like Curry and KD, I would probably still take LeBron. I'll be honest. Like other than KD and
No,
Curry,
yeah,
start me a team with LeBron.
yeah, no. So, and that's crazy. So I definitely have a lot of emotions, and I mean, what can you say? Uh, Warriors got to step it up on
Yeah,
defense if they want to be competitive in the series. But the Lakers got to find a way to be more efficient on offense if they got to, competitive. Um, Switch it up and say the same exact thing. Golden State's got to find a way to show up besides Steph Curry. Lakers went to a 7-game series. Um, Only AD was the only leading scorer in the game. Every other game, someone else had to be that guy. And it's nice, but at the end of the day, that isn't always what you want. Because then you could end up with a game where no one can
yep.
be that guy.
Everyone's off, and you need to be on.
Everyone's
Yeah,
off. And you need exactly. So at this point, we're honestly like it's so crazy because they're so
yeah, they
different
are though.
teams.
That's a good
One
point.
one team is built on shooting. One team is built on inside fighting. Not fighting, but fighting on the inside, trying to bully your way through. But they're really the same team.
I mean, when you look at the stars,
Average teams, like both average in stats. Except for the only thing I would put Golden State is a way better scoring team
mm,
than the Warriors. But at this point, from what they've shown us in the first round and towards the end of the season, that consistency is just like it's not there right now. So like they struggled against an average defensive team in the Kings. Not Knicks, Jesus. The Lakers are a little better. So I definitely do expect this to be a little bit more competitive. But I got this going 7 games. What about you?
Cool. We got to go on 7. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Yes.
Man, I don't know if I got to go on 7. I was thinking 6 or 7, I'll be honest. And I still have not made my choice for who I'm going to pick. Can you guys believe that? And I'm serious because I was going back and forth, man. Like, I almost have my choice. I'm like 98% sure on who I want to pick. But then again, it's like that other 2% is like, like literally the stars can change this whole game. The star could take over in any one of these games. You could have LeBron go off for 40. You can have Curry go off for 40. And it can literally change a game any second. Now, what I will say is, though, obviously you got Golden State that has the home team or home field advantage, home court advantage, so they are going to start out at home. That's going to help them a little bit. Plus, the way that the second round is set up, it's 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off. So there's not going to be that much off time for LeBron. You know, he is age 38 right now. We know that, and we know that he is not himself late. You know, not 100%. You know, coming towards the end of the season, he was like still not 90%. He said so. He wasn't coming in 100%. Same thing with AD. You know, he was on and off this whole year. Finally came back. He was healthy at the end of the year, but I don't think both of these guys are 100%. When you got guys like Clay coming into his own now, when you got guys like Wiggins coming into his own now, when you got guys like Looney coming into his own now, but I don't expect Looney to ball out like he did in that first round. I think that AD is going to be getting those offensive rebounds in this matchup. I do expect Clay, or sorry, not Clay, but I expect Looney, Kevin Looney, to struggle down low. To be honest, struggle to get those offensive rebounds and struggle to even get points. I do see him struggling in this matchup just because how good AD is down low. He's going to block shots. And one thing about Curry, too, he loves to go inside, throw those floaters up. One thing about AD, he loves blocking floaters. And if you notice in that, the first couple games when they played the Memphis, John Morant loves doing those floaters too. And what was happening? AD was coming in and blocking them out of there. So one thing we're going to have to watch is definitely blocks on Curry. I will say, though, if LeBron comes out hot and starts making threes, then they're going to be very successful because I'll be honest, like the last round, they were terrible, bro. I'm just going to read off LeBron's three-point stats in the last 5 games. He was 1 for 8. He was 0 for 4. 1 for 7. 1 for 9. And 2 for 5. So he's literally averaged 10% in the last round. That's how bad he was in his three-pointers, which is crazy. He only made 5 3-pointers and shot close to like 40. That is just terrible. So one thing, I think the LeBron can play better. He's not known, obviously, in his career for being a great three-point shooter, but he's got to shoot at least more than 30%. Like, you got to give him more than 30. If you want to keep up in this league and keep up with a team like the Warriors that is going to shoot threes, you got Poole, you got Clay, you got Curry, obviously. Even Wiggins is out there shooting threes at 35, 38%. You got to keep up with these guys if you want to. Now, one thing I will say, though, Draymond and LeBron matchup, that's going to be interesting because, you know, Draymond loves playing LeBron on defense. Who's going to...
Nah, it's not. It's gonna be
Think
Wiggins.
so? I think this time it's going to be Wiggins?
Draymond have to guard AD.
Yeah.
At
Yeah, I mean...
At this point, think about it. That's what they did last year. Wiggins guard the best defender. Draymond guards the second best. That's exactly why Andrew Wiggins was guarding Jason Tatum while Draymond Green was...
I mean, you got a point for sure, especially like once... Like, it'll be interesting once Vanderbilt's in there because Vanderbilt, too, is going to be taking up Draymond space, too. So he's going to be in his space. But I do expect the center to be like Kevon Looney versus AD. You know, I do expect that to be the matchup.
AD is going to guard Kevon Looney because he's going to want to stay in the paint, and Draymond has a better chance of pulling AD out the paint because Draymond stays at the top of the keys, passing, setting screens, DHOs.
That's why I don't think AD's going to do that. Like, I don't think AD's going to...
So, no, AD is going to guard Kevon Looney, but Draymond is going to Anthony Davis, while Wiggins, and at that point,
Maybe
will guard will guard
Looney.
Looney.
Maybe I
Yeah.
I could definitely see Looney still keeping up on my man AD down low, especially if AD tries to get some post moves. But I will say I think the AD is going to be successful down in that post.
Well, yeah, but yeah, I would say like if Kevin Looney, or basically Kevin Looney guards AD if they go down the court and they don't have time to switch, or if AD gets a rebound. But his primary defensive guard, that's literally what Draymond. That's literally what
True,
Draymond
but
gets paid for.
I'm sure we're still gonna see some Draymond versus LeBron action, and that's what I really want to see.
Oh
I
yeah,
want to see that action because
no, we will.
that's gonna remind you of that old school.
But I was gonna say like primary,
Oh,
that's gonna be
yeah,
Andrew Wiggins' job, and
that's a good point though. The primary for sure,
like,
but I still want to see some of that Draymond action because that's what we missed from those finals. We missed Draymond versus LeBron. Obviously, like that was.
I mean, Draymond ain't that same defensive player anymore either. I would say he's still a great defensive player, but even now he might want to worry about AD. he
got to know, man. AD seems like
and Wiggins handle LeBron because you got your work.
I don't know, man. I'll be honest. AD seems like a better player right now than, dare I say it, LeBron in the playoffs. I'll be honest. Like AD's been playing better than LeBron.
But that's the whole purpose.
I know, but that's what I mean. So like
technically, a team in scoring.
Barely.
While AD had 231 games, LeBron consistently averaged 2 more points in series because of point. LeBron was never the top scorer, but he was always because that's not his job.
I know, but that's what I mean. So it's gonna be you're giving
this is AD's time to shine. He's the one that's going to be the one giving the more opportunity.
And that's what I mean. You're giving Draymond a tougher job to guard a tougher defender than LeBron. Like you're giving him a tougher job than it would be to defend LeBron.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think you got to give that on Looney. If Looney's been balling out like this on guys like. I'm sorry, but you didn't have like Jaren Jackson in there. Yes, it would have been interesting to see Jaren Jackson. What would have been with him if he was in that series? Because that would have been totally different seeing him against AD. I would have liked to see that because I do think that the body styles match up similar to Kevon Looney and Jaren Jackson.
Yes, but I'm going to choose Looney over Draymond to guard anyone. You have two of the best defensive players in the league in Wiggins and Draymond. Yeah. So Wiggins gonna guard LeBron. Looney will get his chance to guard AD. Draymond will also get his chance to guard LeBron. But I promise you, as soon as that game starts, you're gonna see Draymond getting post up because he's the one that's gonna have to guard AD. You saying that, and that's what I'm saying. You saying that AD's a way better person or scorer right now or a taller task is exactly why they're going to put Draymond on him. Draymond is the best defender on that team. If AD wasn't in the picture and let's say it was LeBron James and LeBron James and JaVale McGee, yes, Kevon Looney's guarding JaVale McGee and Draymond Brown.
I guess you. So you want the Lakers. I'm sorry. You want the Warriors to put their best defender on AD, and I'm sorry that's on AD. Pretty much.
The Lakers' best scorer. Yeah, and that's not what like me wanting.
No, that's what they should do. Right.
Not only that's what they will do.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
That's 100%.
And you know what? You might be right about that. Now that I'm thinking about it, because obviously AD doesn't really like backing down as much. So you might be right. Draymond is going to be kind of covering him up front as well, like when they're passing it out around the 3-point line, even mid range. So you might be right about that. Actually, I'll concede to that for sure. And that's gonna be huge for them but seeing the amount of points that AD is gonna be able to get on Draymond, because like you said, Draymond is not that same defender. That is gonna be interesting too. It definitely is. I don't know. I expect LeBron to play a lot better in this series. He played pretty bad in that first series.
So I don't think he played bad shooting. Yes,
that's what I mean. Not defensively, he played
everything
good.
Else, As I say, everything else was great. His shooting was bad, but he still, like you said, shot almost 50% altogether. Even though his 3 point was under 20, like yeah, his 3 point was trash, but he still ended the series with 22 points, 11 rebounds, 5 or 6, a
Yeah,
block and a
but like,
steal.
when have you heard LeBron averaging 22 points is a good thing? Like that, even like his rookie year, my
That but
man didn't
that's but
average.
that's your problem though. 8 years old,
Yes, but to win,
and you're mad that he had 22
but to win this
Any other
series, he
person,
needs to score more. That's what I mean. To win this series, a team like the Warriors,
not
the number one
necessarily.
or sorry, number two scoring team in the league, he needs to score more.
Not necessarily. They just have to play better defense. And I would say he needs to shoot better, not score more. Because I'll
22
be
points is
honest,
enough. I think like
LeBron
25,
James,
26 he needs. To be honest, that's me.
bro, but because
Austin
like
Reeves took over last
anyone
series
else,
and he took over most of the points. I think if one, I mean, yeah, if same thing happens and Austin Reeves takes over again, then yes. But what if a guy like Austin Reeves doesn't? You're gonna need a guy like LeBron. The top guys are gonna need to score in this series.
but that's the thing. If he averaged what, one or two more made threes, that's 22 to 25 to 26. That's every other basically leading scorer. Like he doesn't need. I don't think that's the whole point. Like he is 38 years old. It's crazy. So like 20, the only fault you can say about the first round is his shooting, but everything else he was
It was
prolific.
great.
Anyone us have
Some
a
of the best
first
defense
round
I've
like
seen in his
that,
career.
they had a great round. But it's crazy that some people could be like, and
But
it's not
no, I'm
even
not
you
even
personally.
faulting him for
That's
winning
just the
in that way. I'm saying to win this series, he's got to score more.
to me. I think he could do it if both average over 20. That's the point. Name any other squad that got two people averaging over 20. They
I
don't.
mean,
Most other squads, like let's say you
the
got, so
Warriors,
obviously you got the
the Celtics
Celtics.
for sure over 25.
Clay, you got your Clay just
He's
got
just over 20.
like plays barely.
That's it. No,
Look,
no,
okay,
actually,
look,
you know
you
what?
can't
The
really,
Kings. I mean, Kings were 20 and the Sabonis had just over
well, that's
20.
because they have no role. Everyone kind of like the Kings is more of a team, like a team, where they no real superstar. They too many young guys. But that's what I'm saying. Like Devin Booker
Yeah, but that's once
and
KD came in. I get
KD,
you. And then obviously Luca and Kyrie, they couldn't really do nothing with it. So I get it. It needs to be spread around more. But I think that do you really expect like the Lakers to win this series if LeBron averages 22? The rest of this series against the Warriors.
no, but I don't expect him to average 22.
Me neither.
That's
That's
what
what I
I'm saying.
mean. I
He
don't either.
averaged 22, shooting 19% from the three. I don't expect him to shoot
I
that
agree.
bad.
I agree.
So already turns to 26 just by
I
shooting
mean, that's
better.
that's my point
And
though.
that's
He's
a
got to make more points to win this
no, yeah,
series though.
he's
Like
got to
literally, he's got to shoot more and make more points.
so to me it's not shoot
Yeah,
more.
yeah. No,
It's
make more
just be
points.
more
Yeah,
efficient. It's just
yeah.
be more efficient. And I don't know what it was, but I honestly felt like he was just trying to show off a lot. Like there's so many game ending runs in the fourth quarter in this Grizzlies series where he took threes to me made no sense. It's just because he always kept thinking one of them's gonna
He was
hit
shooting a lot of 40-footers.
and be
Like,
that
I'm
three.
like, what are you doing?
Oh, like yes, that's what I'm saying. So like, I really think he was taking a lot of stupid shots. Like, and I don't even say on purpose, but like
Now he was trying to make the
LeBron
crowd
was trying to,
like
like,
be in his favor. Like, yeah, I
yeah, he
know,
was trying to
change the
mentally like,
momentum or
yeah.
something. Or
So he can't do that. He knows he can't do that against the Lakers. I mean, the Lakers against the Warriors. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think he takes shots like that. I think we no, you're right. I do think we do see a better LeBron this series, but I do think he gives us at
I
least
think we
25
need
for
to, and
sure.
I think this is the way that the Lakers win. I think if he gets 25 and you get AD getting 25 the rest of this series, this is where I don't have this as a 7-game series. Now, the Warriors have one problem this whole year. What is that problem? They play terrible on the
Defense.
road.
Oh,
They do. They're one of the worst teams in the road in the NBA. In the NBA, like the only worst teams than
mm-hmm.
them, Houston Rockets, and you got the Detroit Pistons that are just as bad. And I think the Portland Trailblazers as well. I think they're just right there at 10-33 as well on the road, which is crazy, crazy. Or 10-32 actually on the road, but it's a crazy, crazy number. I think that the one thing that the Lakers will do good, they do play good on the road, and they can steal one in Golden State. This is going to be home in Golden State the first two games. I do expect the Lakers to steal one in Golden State, and then I'll be honest, I got this being a 3-1 series after game 4 with the Lakers' favor. Now, what happens after that? I think LeBron and AD are just going to take over the series. The inside game is going to take over. I don't think that Kevon Looney is going to be able to stop guys and going to be able to get those offensive rebounds like he was able to. So I got this as a 6-game series and the Lakers winning game 5 and game 6. Or no, I'm sorry. Oh, excuse me. I said that wrong because I got it a 3-1 series, and then I got them one in game 6. Yes, that's what I do. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so I got a lot more competitive. I do think that I don't know. I think that both teams, like they're gonna try to go for their strengths. So Warriors gonna be a problem to deal with that. I do have it in 7. I do have it Lakers in 7. Um, Part of me though do believe it's a biased choice.
Why you say that?
Well, I don't know. I love both teams,
Well, it's
but
not biased then if you like them both.
well, here's the thing: when it comes so even like this, and this has been one of the most hardest choices for me, I have to go with who I want to win. And I can't. I still right now, as I'm talking, I just literally can't actually pick based off of stats alone. I have who I want to win, and I want the Lakers to win.
Wow. That's crazy because the way that I picked, I literally did the opposite because who I want to win is the Warriors. But I kind of went off logic and just what I've seen from the All-Star game. And since
my logic finds me dead center. My puts me.
No, I mean it's logical what you said too. Like everything is logical about that pick. It's not like it's not, but I'm like my heart says.
I do believe game 7. I'm taking LeBron over Curry.
That's what my heart says. Take Curry in a game 7. Take Curry in a game 7. Not that you've seen him ball out, but my head is just saying like, yo, the Lakers have been the best team, pretty much second best team in the league since the All-Star break, and they've been balling out with all their role players. Vanderbilt's gonna ball out in this game. Obviously, you got guys like Russell who's gonna be balling out, and Austin Reeves balling the fuck out. So I got Lakers in 6. I think they're gonna do it quick, man. I think this is gonna be a rough one for the Warriors.
Well, we'll see tonight. They get their first chance, so we'll see how it goes.
Let's see it. And then why don't we go over to the last series in the East? I mean, this is a series that nobody really thought was gonna happen. I'll be honest. Like nobody thought the Heat
5 beating the number 4 and the number 8 beating the number 1 and the number 8 and the number 5 are not a chance for the Eastern Conference Finals. Nobody
insane.
thought
And the Heat. I'm sorry. The Knicks have not made the Eastern Conference Finals since 1998. So this is their shot. And since Patrick Ewing, obviously, when he was on their squad back in the day. So what do you think about this one? Who you got? This one, it kind of a tough one because both of these teams are not great at one thing. But who you got for this one?
I mean, this one is probably gonna be determined about what they don't have, and that's Julius Randle and Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero, and God knows what other injuries. Right now, the Knicks came out, thought they had the game won, but Timothy Butler decided that that's not going to happen.
He's him. He's him.
And he definitely showed up a little bit, and then rolled his ankle. So while the Heat took game 1, no way he plays game 2. They're not trying to say it fully reported it yet, but those reports are also saying softball or a tennis ball. So I doubt the team allows him to play no matter what. Knowing him, he probably want to play. But I definitely don't see him coming back game 2. We'll have to reevaluate at the end of this week how he's looking. With that being said, this was hard as in that hard. But at the end of the day, Knicks are probably a better row on the team with the absence of Tyler Hero. But god damn, you cannot count Jimmy out. Watching that 52-point game against the Bucks really just when the ball's in his hand, and when there's a shot in the dark, Jimmy.
Playoff
Um,
Jimmy's a thing. It
so
really
that's
is.
why it's hard to choose from because without Jimmy Butler, you choose the Knicks over the Heat, and that's what you have to do until we know when Jimmy's coming back. As of right now, Josh Hart playing great energy, playing outstanding, backing up Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's just showing that he was worth that contract, showing that these motherfuckers in bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and now he's pretty much averaging 24, 5, and 2 steals in the first round and had a great hell of a series. Obi Toppin stepped up in the absence of Randall, and like you said earlier, him Mitchell Robinson was just going off in the first round, making a presence known, being physical in the paint. So definitely, I want to see him can continue to contribute everyone, and obviously just give Jaylen Brown some help. We know he's going to show up. Let's see if Barrett can continue to show up. Let's see if Hart can show up. See if Robinson can continue to show up because he's averaging 10 boards and 2 blocks. So he's actually having
He's
a
a great blocker, by the way. Mitchell Robinson. Even
he is. He just never had the size, like as in
yeah,
strength and
yeah.
body
He was
by
never
size.
strong like
Yeah.
Dwight Howard was, but he was
Mhm.
tall and lengthy, kind of like Bol or kind of like, guys like that, or Mo Bamba, somebody like that. He was definitely tall and lengthy.
So yeah, so he's definitely doing his thing, and right now, unfortunately, Caleb Martin and Kevin Love is not enough.
Mm,
Kyle Lowry's definitely feisty. Like you said, Kevin Love in that first game, really. I'll be honest, if it weren't for a majority of those outlet passes type of game, transition defense is one of the Knicks basically that he already have a game plan to make sure they can get by that and use that against them. So definitely great coach team, but without their superstar and without their second best player, scoring wise, because you can't build a team or win a game with just Bam. I'll tell you that
good point.
much. So without Hero and without Butler, I don't expect from this Heat team. It was probably gonna be a fun series before Butler got injured. Just knowing what he could bring to the table to be out the whole series, I don't think. But chance to catch up and take the lead in a 7-game series, it's gonna be hard for the Heat to come back.
That's true. That's very true. Plus, the Heat did steal a game at home, game one against the Knicks, and that was a game at home that the Knicks lost, which you would think, you know, obviously without Tyler Hero, you would think that the Knicks should have won that game. One thing I will say in this series, you're gonna need R.J. Barrett to step up for the Knicks if you want like anybody to step up. That's got to be the guy. Like Josh Hart has been balling out since he's been on the Knicks. I'll give him that. He's literally been the perfect trade player that you need, like a guy that comes in and gets you over 10 15 points, for the rest of the season average, and can make threes and still be a great defender. He still defends very well that shooting guard position. I do think that that's gonna be the key right there, because the shooting guards, obviously you're gonna have Gabe Vincent out there, and you're gonna have Max Struss is gonna be like another guy that's gonna be out there for Miami. But who's Miami's been putting out there lately? Duncan Robinson. Like, where did he come from, bro? I know they don't. Like, literally everyone's out.
They need
I know
the points.
Everyone's been
Yeah.
out. All their forwards are out. They need the points for sure. But it's crazy. Like, Duncan Robinson's been playing good. He's been shooting threes. We all know about his defense and how terrible it is. One of the worst in the league. But he's actually been balling out, shooting a lot of threes. Even in the first round, he was able to shoot threes and win some games for him. Now, I do think that this series is going to come down to defense. Miami plays very good defense, and the New York Knicks are going to need to shoot the ball better from three. That's the one thing they struggle with. You got Jalen Brunson, who likes to go inside. Obviously, you got Randall, who sometimes will shoot a 3 or 2, but you can't expect him to do that. And who are you really going to ask, like, the Knicks to shoot? Like, Hart, yes. RJ Barrett, yes. But other than that, Toppin, sometimes. Like, they really don't have many guys that can consistently make threes. All their guys like going inside. Isaiah quickly likes going inside. Obviously, guys like Fournier and Randall, they're all like inside type players. So I will like to see them shoot more threes, and if they make more threes, then they're going to be very successful. Now, without Miami having everyone on their squad, you kind of think that they're going to lose it, but I'm going to be the contrarian and say I don't. I think that even without Jimmy Butler, Miami is going to take care of the New York Knicks. Miami just has better role players. Not only that, they're a way better coach team. I think this is going to be an easy series for Miami. Like, people thought I was going to go the other way, but no. This is not going to be an easy series for the Knicks. The Knicks are not going to come back in this series once they go down. They lost the game at home already. I think Eric Spoelstra, I've already said this, one of the best coaches in the NBA history. He knows how to have teams that teams that don't have a star player and that are like losing in the regular season, and he knows how to bring them up in the playoffs. One thing about Eric Spoelstra is he plays all his guys, and he plays his rotations at perfect placements. That's one thing he's going to do against the Knicks. I expect this to be a 6-game series as well, and I think the Heat are going to beat the Knicks in 6. Whenever Jimmy comes back, obviously he's going to be the caveat to it, but I just think the role players that Miami has are going to be playing way better than the role players than the Knicks have, and that's going to be the key difference, and that's what's going to win it for Miami, though. Who you got for this series, though? I want to know what you think.
Like, I really do agree with you.
Wow.
And before Jimmy went down, I had the Heat winning this easily. Even with them taking game 1, without Jimmy, that's a whole different.
It's totally different.
I don't trust them. I don't trust them yet. So knowing when Jimmy returns, without Jimmy, and like I said, if Jimmy takes too long, at the end of the day, like, they risk him coming back, because you got to save Jimmy for the next round. If you do win, you got to make sure you come back and to then face the Celtics or
yeah. Sixers. But be honest with me though, do we expect them to even, once they get past this, or if they get past this round, could they beat a team like the 76ers or Celtics? I mean, I don't expect that either.
But they
I guess you're right. I guess you're right.
And that's what I'm saying. So, like, how they limit his return? If it's how is it actually? Let me know.
I mean, it is a rolled ankle, just like you said. It's a sprained ankle. It's a grade 1 sprained ankle. Supposedly, it takes you out 2 to 3 days. That is pretty much 1 to 2 games. Like I said, the second round they're doing 1 day off, 1 day on. So they're talking bringing him possibly back 3rd game. If not 3rd game, then for sure 4th game. So that's what most of the talk is.
Yeah, because his dumbass played through it.
I mean, he was injured like the 3rd quarter, and then he kept going.
That's
but he was balling out though. So
he kept going. So he went back, and knowing them, they want to keep him out. Let their star player get injured in the fucking series.
So what you think? He comes back 4th game? Not even 3rd?
Nah, I think he's gonna come back 3rd. So that's in Miami.
Yeah, they're going back to Miami after game 3, game 4. The Knicks going to be partying down there. They got to go to South Beach, go to the SLS hotel real quick, and then they got to go wake up and probably play a game on Sunday, game 3. That's going to be a tough one. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Knicks in 7.
Damn.
That also might be my bias on hating the Heat. But it's something they want it to seem.
Yeah, I mean,
his poster is like, I know where his heart is. I know what he wants to do. This was not just a decision between Jimmy and I. We're probably the worst people to rely on to make that kind of
obviously
decision.
They both want him to be on the court.
Medical staff, they want him to be on.
So they actually want him to be on quicker than you're saying. You're saying that they want to keep him off, but they actually want to put him on. There's the medical staff.
No, they want him on.
That's holding him back.
It's going to determine.
So I'll be honest. I got them coming back game 3, and after game 3, I could see them only losing 1 game after game 3.
So I got him coming back game 3, but I got them losing.
Losing game 3 in Miami.
And at that point, one Knicks. And then I got Miami winning game 4, and now we're in the back in the 3 games.
3-game series after 4.
It's not 100%, and then Jimmy's not 100% at this point. He's starting to exhaust himself. It's going to be reminiscent of him dragging himself to a game 7 last year against just to come short in one shot.
Man, that's great. I just think playoff Jimmy's a thing this year. I think playoff Jimmy is back.
Oh yeah,
and I do expect him to have
playoff
one more.
Playoff Jimmy got regular season ankles. So.
He do, but I think he's gonna come back from one of these games and just shoot the lights out. I expect Miami to win game 5 and 6 actually, and come out.
But I take the face us in the next round. I wouldn't mind knocking the Heat off once again.
So who you picking then? Miami or Knicks?
I'm gonna go with Knicks in 7.
I'm still taking Heat in 6. I think there's gonna be a quick series. That's gonna be a lot of people are gonna have Miami as underdog, but don't count them out. So real quick though, before we finish it off, let's give the people who we had again. This series, I had Miami in 6. You had
it's Knicks in 7.
And then in the Lakers versus the Warriors series, I had the Lakers in 6. You had. Nice. And then we go off to the other one in the West, Denver versus Phoenix. Who you had in this one? Who you got?
We both had Nuggets in 6.
Both had Nuggets in 6. And then the final series going over in the East, the Philadelphia 76ers against Melo's Celtics. Sorry. Ooh, almost said Lake. Excuse me. Melo Celtics versus the 76ers. Let me bring that back.
Wow.
Man, they're like the 2 best franchises in the NBA. You get them confused sometimes. They got almost the same amount of... Nah.
I mean, we're tied, but we're still better. And we had Celtics in 7.
Yes. Yeah. All Celtics
nice.
in 7 in that one. And that's going to be a great series. I think all these second-round matchups are going to be pretty good to watch, though. A lot of star power. Obviously, a lot of great names, a lot of great cities and in the NBA, some historic franchises, and definitely going to be a sight to watch.
100%. Second round is going to be hectic. And honestly, granted, the Heat versus Knicks probably isn't the best series we thought we were going to see. But whatever is about to be hectic. More than likely, people want to see Heat versus Celtics because of Jimmy Butler over the Knicks. But either way, it will still be a great series. True. And obviously in the West, Suns, Nuggets, Warriors, Lakers. That's just high quality
Can't go wrong with either
basketball.
Yeah.
So literally, it's every conference final that is going to. So definitely looking forward to this one. Like I said, I'm highly invested in the Celtics versus 76ers, which to me is the Eastern Conference Finals. So,
pretty much. I mean,
this
it seems like almost the finals matchup. That one and in the West, the Lakers versus Warriors, those seem like final matchups. They really do. But make sure that you guys comment below. Tell us who you think is going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals, and who your finals matchup is going to be too. We'd love to know what you guys think. Also, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the page. Turn on the post notifications on so that you guys can know whenever we put up a new video. We have videos up every single day, if it's a short or if it's just different type of segments that we have from the show. So make sure you guys have those on so you can check all of our videos out. But if you want to go to one place to check everything out, Milo, why don't you tell them about that?
You already know, www.whoyougotpodcast.com. You have access to the podcast. You have access to our videos. You have access to our merch. You have access to our Patreon. Pretty much, if you can't remember where to find anything or don't want to go to our personal pages, go to www.whoyougotpodcast.com.
Exactly. And of course, if you guys want to check out some of the podcasts that we don't have up on the YouTube or up on Google, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, go over to Patreon. That's a place where we got some podcasts that are just exclusive for those Patreon guests and the people that give us general support there. You guys could also check out some of the merch that we have there. You get it in the 3, 6, and 9 month periods, but definitely check those out. Some really cool stuff there as well. Thank you guys again for checking out this episode. We're going to be back for some more stuff. We got a lot of sports coming up, and we definitely going to keep talking NBA. We're going to come back for the Western and Eastern Conference Finals and, of course, the finals, because we always love talking basketball, right?
Mm-hmm. You already know, got a lot of good basketball coming up. Playoffs is right in the nick of it. Couple UFC, couple boxings. We definitely got a lot of things coming up, and we'll make sure we're going to keep giving you that quality sports
That's
content.
right. So make sure you guys stick around with us and check us out next time on Who You Got With
Melo
and Rado. Peace.
Peace.